Hello all. In continuation to series in what's new in 2023 release wave 1, we'll talk about one new interesting reporting change, which is define regional setting per report using a region property. Now this is Aradhyani signing in and let's dive into it. So before Business Central 2023 release wave 1, report formats, especially the date, the numerical formats, depending on the client setting for regions could not be configured, and it was a pretty much hassle for every customer who operate in multiple parts of the world to kind of see how these numbers look like. Like in certain countries, 1,000 separator may be a dot, and in some countries it's a comma. The dates are formatted differently in different countries, and that was super confusing because of different users based on different regions. So with this release, Microsoft had added the ability to define the region's formatting setting, especially for the date and numerical time, on the report object while developing it as a developer, and also for the users that they can override the setting which are set by the developer. So there's something for users, there's something for developers when you are building reports. Now, what that is? Um, in this, there are settings that tenant administrators can set how the dates and numbers can be formatted, which then can, of course, be overridden by user settings if needed, but a developer can also define that. So let's start from the beginning. When you, as a developer, start building a report, and let's get into Visual Studio Code rather than talking a lot, and let's try to create a report. Okay, let's do a report, and let's do SDS demo, and this is, let's say, on customer table. I'm not going to build a report in general, but what I can do is I can define these properties or fields that I need, and then here in the report properties there is a new property added, which is, if I'm not wrong, called region, format region. The property sets the format region that will be used when formatting numbers and date time values. So whatever your settings are set on the layout, they will be overwritten based on whatever you set on these properties. How you need to define it? It's a two-word combination, two-letter subculture code. Like for Japan, you'll use JAJP for Japanese, and for English United States, you'll use ENUS. So if I have to use JAJP, and I hope the IntelliSense support me, but let's see. I'll just copy it for the right way. I'll set that, and let's try to use IntelliSense. Oh, it does not. Okay, let's try to paste it. There's an error. Maybe double quotes? No, still error. Let's try single quotes. Okay. So if you are a developer or building a report who would like to format the region and the date and the numeric values in Japanese because your users are in Japan, then you can set it like this. Can I do a multiple value? I have no clue. So let's see that. Can I do a comma? No, it seems it does not support it. US, it only supports one format and region. But okay, not a problem. That is what, as a developer, you can set it up. Now let's talk about tenant administrator. So as per Microsoft documentation, it says on the report setting tab or report setting page, if you haven't heard of it, you should. So this is the place where users can set up their filters for different reports. There should be a new column called region, but I don't see that. Still the same columns. Is it hidden? Let me see. Personalize. Let's try to add the field. Okay, there's nothing on the field. Let me try design field, and region is yet not added. Okay, so Microsoft, maybe this is coming up later, but as per your documentation, that should have been released till now. But it seems this is not there yet at this moment. I'm hoping that comes. So what happens if it comes? The administrator can define what kind of regional settings should the user would be using, or all the users in the organization can be using with shared with all users. But okay, let's see the third and the last area where a user can actually go and run a report. So when user runs a report, let's say customer top 10, other than the options, there was a very old, not so old, but there was this advanced tab added in the past, which was to limit how many rows are generated and all to optimize the performance of report. But at the same time, now there are two new fields called format region and the language. The language is used to localize the captions and a string in the report, and the format region is used to format the date and time values in the report. Okay, so let's run it plain and see what happens. So when you run the customer top 10, it'll just, because it's a US tenant, it should show me all the dates and number formats in US, which is a comma here, a dot for the numeric separation. And then the date is shown as Monday, April 17, 2023. So far so good. Let's try to switch this to Canada. They use a different format if I'm not wrong. And I can't spell Canada. Bad of mine. My bad. English Canada. And let's try to preview this. Now if you notice here, the separators are here same as the date, but for the numerical values, but the date has been changed differently as for the regional setting for Canada. What happens if I go, oh, we saw the example of Japan, so let's see Japanese. Is there something in Japanese? Yes. So let's preview this and let's zoom this in. You will notice that the number format is same, so they still use the US format, but the date has been changed into Japanese, which I surely cannot read, but hopefully that's the right translation of it. What happens if you go to German? If you have a user in Germany who uses Germany, and they surely have a different numerical format, if I remember it correctly. So let's have a look on it, and you'll notice the date seems a little bit similar to the US, not exactly. The Monday is now called as Montag, but the numbers are now the thousand separator or whatever that separator is now signifies as dot, whereas the dot, which is a typical decimal separator, is replaced with the comma. Now remember, there is surely some part of it which is defined on what languages are installed on the service tier. I'm hoping, and I'm talking about Business Central SaaS, so I don't know. But if I try it to be India, which is surely something I hope it's not yet there. So if I try Hindi India, anything that you select, if that language module is not installed, something like this, you will see the date where it is trying to convert it to the Hindi calendar, whatever that is. It shows you a junk character, and the numbers are now different from as they are represented in India with a with the separator and dot as the decimal separator. So that's what you can achieve if you have users in different part of the country. They can surely define the region format here, and they can run the report and see the output in their understandable format based on the region where they are in. The only thing that you need to remember that for date translation, uh, it need to have the language module installed on the Business Central environment. But for the language, if you say, it is about the localization of captions and string if that is available in your translation file of your app. So thumbs up to Microsoft to building this feature in, because we know that there are customers who are in different part of the world which reads the same number in a different way based on that region. So with this kind of enhancement into the product, the users from different region will read the data in their local format. So where are the three places where you can add it? As per documentation. One, as a report developer, you can define it as a report property. And then as an administrator, once that bakes in into the product, you should be able to define it on the report setting page. And at the end, last but not least, user will have an option in the advanced tab of any report, which is have a printable output, to choose the reformat and the language properties, which will then change how the dates and the numerical values are represented. So hope you learned something new in today's video. If you did, please do share this video. If you are new to this channel, please do subscribe to the channel. This is Saurabh Dhani signing out, and I'll see you next day with the next video. Thank you and have a great day.